time again.
It's that time again.
It's Hump Day, baby!
Woo-wee! What do we have going on?
Another special guest.
We'll see if Instagram lets us do what we want to do. But you know what? Let's get into it. Ooh-wee! We back, ladies and gentlemen. Cannabis community, everybody all over the internet. How's everybody doing? We are back from another episode of The Smoke Stream. It is episode number 3. And I'm usually the guy that's got the wheel, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pass it off to BG today because BG's got a guest that's about to hop in. We're going to have a good episode. Let's roll with it.
Welcome, everybody, on all of the channels. Shout out to everybody on LinkedIn, all the professionals. Shout out to everybody on my YouTube. We are live on Built Different Group. Shout out to our Green Bag supporters holding it down. This is why you support. We have a special guest today on episode 3. We told you 3 weeks ago when we was going to start this that we're going to do roughly around 11 episodes to carry us through this summertime and this off season. And we'll talk a little Cowboys news today because our special guest is kind of got something to do with the Cowboys, but furthermore, he's got his own CBD company, RxSports. So we're going to be welcome Tony Kennedy to the show. And how did I meet this guy? How did we meet this guy? He said, well, how did you find this person? I would tell you, you never know who's watching on social media, Bob.
You never do.
You know, because you can make a post and you think nobody's following you because nobody comments, nobody likes, nobody shares. But I made a post on Facebook about a couple of weeks ago, and I said, when did you buy your first ever Drew Pearson jersey? Because, you know, that's my favorite guy. I know Playmaker is your favorite guy. We're celebrating Playmaker in the month of June here on Build Different Group. And Tony commented, and, you know, we got to chitting and chatting in the comments. And the next thing you know, we were DMing, and he owns his own RX Sports. He was a former Cowboy, played in 1993. That's right. He was there during the glory days. He's got a little bit of context about what it was like when Emmett was going through his contract situation, as we don't have any contract situations, but we're going to talk CBD today, and I'm excited, Bob. Let's go ahead and let's welcome our guy to the show, Tony Kennedy.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait just a second. I think it's possible
he's still having phone problems.
He might have gotten locked up in the iPhone. All we do was just trying to get him to get the camera turned sideways. I think maybe he's just messing with his settings right now. Okay. You know how it's like a hole you could fall into.
Well, nothing like taking the sail out of your winds, you know, when we get ready to bring our special guest in. But I'm excited today because we're going to talk a little bit about Cowboys today. Bob, big news in the NFC. We've seen that whole trade between Cleveland and the Rams. You know, I gave my take on it. We should worry about it after the bye week. I mean, what's your thoughts real quick before we get Tony in here on the Rams trade?
I tell you what it is. It just feels like everybody other than our friends are all out there trying to make moves and get everything done correctly and work their way to a bowl. And you know, granted, this was the first offseason I think we've seen where the Cowboys did some significant stuff, including the draft, but also other things. It's just not something we're used to. But again, if we tried to make that move, we would have given up a lot of capital to do it, and it just didn't make a lot of sense. I do not believe we are one defensive end away from a Super Bowl, so why spend all that draft capital, and who are we going to give up to get them? So I think it's a smart move for LA because, like you said, it's all about the eyeballs out there, just like it is in Texas.
Yeah, you know, I heard, believe it of all people, you know, I don't normally follow this guy, but a lot of content shows up on my timeline. And what was his name? What I shared? What was his name? I told you a while ago. Man, I can't even remember his name now. Anyways, very controversial. He's got his own platform, and he brought up a great point that said that if you take a look at all of the big name players and all of the different professional sports fields that have gotten traded to LA, there's a reason, or maybe there may be some reason for the season. And it's because the LA's got a big market. So what do? You move a superstar athlete like Myles Garrett out of Cleveland in a small market. You move it to the big market in LA. Why? Because viewership. And guess who comes into town week 15 after the bye? Them boys to see Myles Garrett, the hometown DFW kid. Whew. I don't know, man.
We got our friend backstage, man. Let's go ahead. Let's get it rolling, man.
Let's go, Tony.
Tony's bringing in. There we go, bro.
What's up? What's up?
How goes it? How goes it?
How y'all doing, fellas?
Doing good. Doing good.
We appreciate you joining us here today, Tony. I was telling folks, how me and you kind of met up in the chat over some Drew Pearson a little bit. Is that your favorite player of all time?
I actually, my favorite player of all time is Tony Dorsett.
Oh, can't go wrong there.
Yeah, Dorsett, because it's my birthday, March 3rd, and that's my football number. And if for those of us who are religious, it's the amount of years Jesus Christ walked the earth, 33 years. So, all the greats have won 33. Kobe Bryant, Shaq, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. I mean, it's just a great number. So I'm a big Dorsett fan.
Got you. Now, I'd put up that Drew Pearson post, and me and you got to chit-chatting in the comments, and the next thing you know, we were DMing each other. And we're going to get to this company that you've got here, RxSports, and talk about why you're here to share that type of information. But as a former Cowboy, a lot of folks who may be tuning in today may not be familiar with who Anthony Kennedy is, and that's the guy that was an undrafted free agent that got signed by the Cowboys the year after they won the Super Bowl in '92. Can you talk a little bit about what that was like coming and play with them boys in that time frame?
Well, I wanted to bring back so guys can understand. In '92, '93, that was the first year that the draft went from 7 rounds to 12 rounds. And so, all of us who were projected to go anywhere between 5th and 12th, round, now it changes how everything is done. It was the first year, free agency coming in. So we all lost. I'm from D.C., Washington, D.C., always been a Cowboy fan. And I'm like, well, I left everything up to my agents, and it came down between Miami and Dallas. I didn't know at the time, and they chose Dallas because of my special teams play and just, the amount of depth, because Marino and them didn't keep but 3 or 4 running backs on their team back then. So the depth wasn't there, special teams, however. And I just got, I got lucky to get picked up by the team that I always loved. And it was just, it was so cool to get there until you start hitting. And then you realize, hey man, this is a different ball game here.
These are big dudes, huh?
There's some big dudes. It's some fast dudes. Ken Norton and Robert Jones. They would always call me. Yeah, they would call me toe cutter because I would go and I'm gonna hit you right in your knees and your toe and your legs. I would cut those guys because you're a rookie. They trying to take you back to the quarterback when you're doing, price. I'm like, nah, man, you ain't gonna embarrass me. But it's just different because it was just that January I'm cheering for them, and then you like right here celebrating them winning the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's strange.
I gotta say, as a Miami, Florida native, and who was living in Miami when you were drafted, I gotta say thank you for not going to the Dolphins. And any Cowboy who grew up in Miami like I did is happy that you didn't wind up going to the Dolphins. And
I knew that was coming.
even happier that so many Hurricanes wound up joining you on that team, which was a great thing.
An odd story that I want to tell him: Miami beat Dallas that Thanksgiving in the snow. Remember that?
Yes,
the Leon Lett game.
Oh yeah.
And here's what people don't realize: the team to beat Dallas that year could have been Miami, or the year before, and those years, but Miami messed it up. And one of my good friends, JB Brown, played corner for Miami.
Oh,
he was
right
number 37. So yeah, I mean, you guys were close with Marino, but just couldn't ever get it.
Oh no, I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm just saying, as someone who grew up in Miami,
Florida, but he's a Cowboys fan.
Okay, well,
yeah. I don't claim Marino. I don't claim any of that. But the Hurricanes. But you're right, especially at that time. And the Dolphins did have a tough team.
They had a good team.
Yeah, and all my friends knew it, and that's the reason why that game was such a big game for us in the snow. Obviously, it became huge at the end because of how it transpired. But even then, it was a fight. It was a good game.
And before we get into RX Sports and everything that you got to offer with CBD here to be able to inform our audience, we appreciate you joining here today. Tony, life after football seems you've moved on and done some things. And we're going to be sharing that here with you. But I want to get your take on some big NFL news that happened yesterday with this Myles Garrett trade from Cleveland to LA and Jared Verse to the Cleveland Browns. What's your take on that? Is that unusual, or did you go like, wow, too?
Well, I'm looking at it as LA is always, any sports teams in LA, they always go all out. Isn't that the same people that got Wayne Gretzky back in the day in LA? Then, remember, LA never drafted any of their people in basketball.
They went and got Shaq from Orlando. You got a point.
Yeah, and everybody's always imported into LA because of the big TV market, because of Hollywood, because of everything. And this is no different, man. The Super Bowl's in LA again. I was at the Super Bowl when it was in LA when they beat Cincinnati. They're trying to run it back 4 years later. 4 or 5 years later, they're not playing, man. That move right there just told me that you may see Aaron Donald. And
they already talking that mess too. I'm like, what?
And if that happens, it's going to take an offense that can get rid of the ball fast to beat them.
Dak to
you know what I mean?
Dak to GP, something like that.
Yeah, you cannot have a team where you relying on the run to set up the pass. You're going to have a team kind of like the Dolphins from back in the day when they did with the 46, a team that can get the ball out fast and make those guys cover. Because if you thinking you're going to sit back there with them dudes, you got another thing coming, man. Because those guys, man, they were this close to the Super Bowl last year. Man, now they got the best defensive player in the last 20 years.
Don't be talking about Aaron Donald on here like that, Anthony Kennedy. We already got to see the Rams week 15 after we get out of this bye week. But
where's that game?
That's week 15, December 20th, right before the holiday.
Is it out in LA? It's
out in LA, and that's where the Super Bowl is at next Valentine's Day.
Yep, Valentine's Day. Yeah, you might as well call that. We're gonna call that lawyer day because divorce lawyers. The divorce lawyers are gonna go have a field day because there's gonna be a lot of people who gonna find out if they really should be in this marriage or not. I mean, or it's gonna be a lot of Saturday night, Valentine's Day celebrates because if you go to your hubby and talking about you got to do something at 2, 3, 4 on Valentine's Day, you can forget that marriage.
Well, we're going to see. It sounds like a whole bunch of achy, breaky heart. But when it comes to achy, breaky joints, because, Father Time catch us all up. After you got out of football, talk to us a little bit about, Tony, about RX Sports. How did you become the co-founder and the CEO of RX Sports to be able to share pain relief with not only veterans like myself, but also the NFL athletes and college athletes? Tell us about RX Sports.
Well, I run an all-star game called the Crab Bowl. It's a state game. So I was looking for a sponsor, and, I had a heart attack 8 years ago. So I walk, 4 or 5 miles a day. So, I'm in pain, and I'm walking, and this company reached out to me. Hey, we may have a chance to sponsor. Right? So I said, okay, well, let me try it. Come to find out, the stuff worked. And so we got in. It was like, well, how can we do this or whatever? I end up buying the company. This was November 22. I bought the company in November 23. And from that point on, I've been trying to get into colleges. We got 3 NIL athletes. I've been parents, friends, everyone. Just letting them try it and seeing that us at hemp, CBD with no THC, we had to sell this to everyone because, as you know, everything got lumped in together. And people were like, no, we don't want to do drugs. And remember, I'm in D.C. D.C. is 95% government. Yeah. So no matter where you go here, you are government. It's no THC allowed in government. but we don't have THC. So to get them to realize that CBD is different than, the cannabis and marijuana, it's crazy. But I understand. I mean, people don't want, their kids or whatever else to be high. And I understood all that. But that's how I end up getting involved because it worked on me. And I know if it worked on me, it could work on the common athlete or football player who needs something to help them get to the next game.
You talking about like pain management, pain
Pain
relief?
management, practice, pain management.
What was it exactly, Tony, that you used that made the switch for you to? Was it the creams or what was it?
It was the cream. It was the creams because, like anything else, we have creams, pills, gummies, tinctures.
Bob, you got his website. I'm sorry if you could pull his website too. I sent the link up. I'm sorry, Tony. Go ahead.
And
Send it again.
So RxSports.net. And so what I told people all the time is you're going to use on your body before you go and put it in your mouth. Okay. And that's just anybody. And so what we did was just start off giving people, I call them little crack size cans of free stuff. And it was like crack. And it was. It went around just like it. Because when I tell you guys, as we speak right now, 3 years later, we hitting at about 98%. 98% is what we're hitting at.
Wow.
And it's been helping so many people. So, that whether you over 65, under 25, our college kids. And then you see the one in the middle is called Kalia. What I did was I took some and I changed the smell for women because I didn't want them smelling like Joe the plumber at their jobs or they getting out of a gym. Yeah. So I changed the smell. And the women loves our Kalia because it kills pain and they can be in the office and not smell like they just came out of LA Fitness.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lot. Really, the most of the creams you're going to get, and that's basically whether it's THC or CBD based. Most of them are all going to have the similar smells, like you said. It's going to be that mentholatum, old school Bengay stuff, and some companies decide that they're going to change that up. Most of them don't, simply because it's a cheap thing. The mentholatum, there's some products in there that are a little cheaper that you can get it. But I'll tell you this, as somebody who suffered most of my life and still do with digestive issues, as soon as CBD started becoming really popular years ago, I had access to it. I had access to really good, clean, high amounts of it from a distributor out here in Denver. And I tried it with basically no expectations whatsoever, simply because I'm a cannabis user. So I didn't think that it was going to work. And it did for me what THC can't do for you, which is the anti-inflammatory effect that it has, and the things that it does for joints and bones that I can't really explain to you why it happens. But the thing is it's from a cannabis plant. It's just not a psychoactive portion of it. So you're actually getting the benefits of everything you would get from THC without THC or anything that's going to make you psychoactively altered. And the creams, like you said, even the THC ones, they do a good job of getting into your skin and going directly where you need to go. But like everyone is worried about passing a drug test or something using CBD, it does not work that way. It will not make you fail a drug test. And it's definitely not a narcotic, which is crazy because it's tied in directly with the cannabis plant. And that's been stigmatized.
It comes from a narcotic.
Yeah. And it's been stigmatized forever. So I definitely know firsthand the battle you're jumped into when you decided to do this, especially trying to change minds.
Yep.
Well, it sounds like, with the players and then, the athletes, and then, as a retired military veteran who served in the Navy 23 years, Tony, I don't use CBD. So what would you recommend? Because when Father Time, you get up, before you get out of the bed, you got to sit on the edge of the bed and get your breath and make sure all the joints and everything are working. Like, as a brand new person who wants to try CBD creams that has aches and joints, pains and things like that, what would you recommend?
I would recommend you try our Red Effect, Warming, our Red Effect that's on there. And reason why I say that is because it goes on hot. You know, y'all military people love to be
Oh, that,
boom,
that
boom,
icy
boom,
hot.
boom.
Yeah, that icy hot.
Yeah. But our stuff goes on warm. But again, we don't have none of that crap. So let me explain the difference between all those companies and us. They have one active ingredient, which you smell is that menthol. We have 15 to 18 active ingredients.
Beautiful.
So that is the difference of us solving your pain versus them. And if you want to put it in percentage, our CBD, probably 96, 97% CBD.
Now
And the
this is
rest
legal.
of it,
This is legal in all 50 states, right?
all 50 states.
Okay.
I get on with my little man purse. I get on every airport with all that stuff you see that's on here.
Yeah.
I have my whole man purse filled with that stuff.
Yeah. I want to make sure
And
because we got pricing on the screen here. We don't want to get hit from either Facebook or YouTube for
oh no,
pricing
you can
and
just
stuff.
yeah,
Okay, so yeah. We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. Okay, so you travel with it. Yeah, that's great. I know some some THC news. We talked about that on the last show, Bob. THC. Now you can travel. I actually traveled to LA with about a half a zip in my medicine bag and my carry-on, and no problems. But that's good to know you can travel. So if I get up in the morning and my aches on my backs and my knees and stuff like that, I'll just take a little bit of that red stuff and
rub it on,
rub it in.
Rub it in. And like I said, it helps with the, like you said, the inflammation, the pain on the joints, all that stuff, man. Because realistically, here's what they didn't want to tell you with all the rest of the stuff with synthetic. The synthetic stuff is made just for temporary. CBD is made to heal whatever's wrong with you. That's what it's made to do. And that's what it's supposed to do. Over time, it's supposed to heal. That other stuff, the synthetic stuff, they don't want you healed because a healed person is a non-paying customer to them. So they don't want you healed. We want you healed because we know, yeah, you may not need it for your shoulder, but guess what? When you need something else, you're going to come back to us. That's the difference between that garbage that's out there now that they're using and our stuff, which is the best in the world. I took it to London, fellas, and those people over there thought I was just some regular American. So they pulled out their stuff from India. They pulled out their stuff from Jamaica. They little stuff that's supposed to be all blah, blah, blah. After they tried it after 2-3 days, they said, man, your stuff blow theirs away. So I know that cream is wax-based. It's better than any of that crap that you ever take. One, because when you go to take a shower, it's still working because it's wax-based. So it's going to stay on longer and make sure it gets down and penetrate. So, yeah, I talk it now because I've been around and I've seen it. We hit at 90. Y'all saw the thing I sent you with Temple. We were hitting at 90% in college. Don't nobody hit nowhere close to over 60%.
When you talking about this percentage, what do you mean with this percentage specifically?
Percentages of what, the athletes coming back, the athletes saying the soreness for the next day.
Oh, return
when the athletes
so
wanting to come back to use our particular product.
Okay, got you.
That was over 90% at a major college team. And that's over 3-4 months. So you doing a whole team, 100 players over 3-4 months, and we hit the 90%.
Man, that's big. That's really big.
Pretty damn big.
Yeah, that's really big. So when you get back, and I don't want to discredit that, but getting back to the veteran piece, because I want to make sure that any veterans that are tapping in here today that are looking for alternative pain management, whether it be THC or now we got Tony here to share with us the CBD. When it comes to veterans, you said, we were chatting that, you do a lot of good for the veterans. You got some veterans on your panel and on your team. Can you talk to it about the veteran aspect of what your company, RxSports?
So what we can't claim because we don't want people to be like, oh, well, this and that. So I have a vet that I have that lives in Oklahoma. He was taking 14, 15 pills a day. He's on our website when you pull him up and he talks about it. Okay. So he tried our stuff, our sedate tincture, and now he's only down to 3 pills a day. He takes that sedate for his PTSD, and my goodness, it's supposed to work on anxiety. It does. It works on him all day. He takes 5 drops about 9, 10 in the morning, and his life is totally changed. He thanks me every day and say, man, because of your product, I got my life back. Put it like this. If I were to get 1 hour with Robert Kennedy Jr., I would be a billionaire right now because we have exactly what he's looking for. He's looking for stuff that it's all natural and it works just like the synthetic stuff, but without the liver, kidney, or stomach. And that's our stuff, our tinctures, our gummies, our pills, and our rubs.
That's interesting. You said it.
Are you finding any difference in distribution of that CBD through your body in the different products you have? Do you have anything that you say would act faster in terms of orally, the gummies versus the tincture? Because I've always found the tincture to be the fastest way to get there.
Well, the tincture is faster because the way you put it on your tongue is hitting right away. I mean, the only other thing if you were to inject it in your veins, right. but no, that's the fastest one. We, some, like you said, once the people get comfortable with us, then they start trying everything else. But everything starts with the rub. Now, my veterans, I'm hoping, because we hear all horror stories about vets being all medicated up. They're not really getting the help they need and everything else. Well, our stuff works. It damn works. And when we start RX Vets, because we own that name, when we put this stuff over to RX Vets, we're going to show the world how you're supposed to take care of your veterans. And you don't have to take care of them by charging them all this money and spending all that money to do all that other stuff. See, that's the problem. They want to, all that money because they got to pay off all their friends and this and that. And they want to medicate these guys. And then now these guys, they're getting tired of taking all these damn pills a day and not eating and this and that and going through that stuff. There ain't no way to live, man. And we should be ashamed to do that to people who actually fought for us to be able to be on here, to be able to do all this stuff, and you treat them this way, that's trash.
So RX Sports, you're talking to RX Vets. That's going to be specifically for vets, if I understand it correctly. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's going to be a line that we start for our veterans. Nice. Because we're getting it now on what they actually need. We know the tinctures, we know the rubs, the pills, and the gummies. If we were in the VAs right now, we would absolutely clean up all that crap that they got because what they're giving them is crap.
So you mean as a veteran, I could go in and talk to my provider if RX Vets was approved?
Yeah. You can go talk to them now for RX Sports and see, because they're trying to do it through Medicare now. And they're trying to get it where the government pay for it. And that's fine. If they do, talk to your people. You know what we are. We're ready to do any of that stuff. We've been trying to get to the director of VA, our guy Charles Eggleston, on our board. We've been, pushing on our way, but only so much you can do until they're ready to talk.
Yeah, I noticed by looking at your website that you got Hall of Fame safety, is it cornerback Darrell Green?
Yeah,
for Washington Commanders. Talk about how that happened, and Bob, if you could pull up the website a little bit and show there. That was one of the things I noticed. I was like, okay, when you started saying NFL, I'm like, yeah, this guy's not playing around.
Well, we got Darrell Green because Mr. Green, because he had a knee problem and it rubbed on his knees and he saw it works. But if anybody knows Mr. Green, Darrell Green, Darrell Green never took a pill, never took anything, in his body. And he is the most trusted, dude when it comes to that in the NFL history. So if he knows that we're good, then I think everybody in the country should know. Because if anybody should have been taking anything, should have been a person who played 20 years or 20 seasons in the NFL.
I think it's under the about section on the bios, Bob.
He's a bad man.
Yeah, no, that was one of the things that stuck out, because I remember when I initially looked at your website, I was like, oh wow, they got everything on here. So now for somebody who's watching this, as Bob will drop the link in the comments, for somebody who would want to go and try RX Sports today, they simply just have to purchase it off the website. Is that how it works?
Yeah, they purchase off the website and it comes to you, comes right to your house, and it's on you. The now you've done the steps to help with your pain, and my team that you see, and that's my advisory board. But even our team, Dr. Tracy, that you see on there, he's a genius. He's the one who created all this. Right there in the second one, Dr. Tracy, he's the one who created everything. He is a genius. He created something. So that his sister passed away from opioids. So he vowed to create something that wasn't addictive, that will help with pain. The good Lord took him here, and the good Lord saved me and allowed me to come and be the CEO of this company to take us to the next level. And that's where we're going to go. We're going to listen. We're going to make a lot of money, but we're going to help people, and helping people is the most important thing. If you tell me, oh, Tony, you can make $2-3 billion, but you got to screw over people, or Tony, you can make $500 million but you got to help a bunch of people, I'll take the 500 million every time.
Now, you said you recently, and thank you for sharing that. It's a great segue, because I want to go back to, life after football for you, because you said back in 2022, you bought this company and you actually have scaled it to where it's at now. Talk about some of the biggest challenges, maybe key moments for you along that journey to get to where you're at now, because it seems like, you're positioned to really take advantage of taking care of some important people, like the athletes on the field who are getting ready to go to 18-game season and have to travel once overseas every year. And you talk about load management and stuff. And then for people like me, veterans who may be watching this for the first time, who could get access to this product today, what's been some challenges for you?
Well, the challenges are really the education, the educational piece of this, and trying to show people that it's not, it's not marijuana, it's not cannabis, it's a hemp plant, and that it's, CBD, and just trying to get through that, trying to make them understand the 2018 Farm Bill. But we've gotten some help from the NCAA saying you're allowed to take CBD, and they're clearing it, but it's still hurdles. And, and when I got it, I was on my own for a little bit, and I had people to say, hey, we're going to come in, 4 or 5 months. And then they didn't come in. And then, I end up finding my COO that I have now, and he's good at structuring businesses, because I knew I was going to find somebody who could step in that role and handle that. And then a month or two later, I found my chief of staff, Dennis Schultz, and then Eric Mason. And those guys, this is what they do for a living. So what they did was get in and kind of handle me a little bit, because when you're an entrepreneur, you kind of everywhere.
Yeah, you're trying to figure it all out.
Trying to figure it out. And, Dennis and Eric kind of, made it and kind of organized it. And to this day, we just got off a call. We'll do 3 times a week, 5:30 to 6:30. We'll do a conference call to see if we hit our goals and see if we hit everything that we need to do, and update, keeping everything going. And that way you never get behind on stuff. And, I kind of needed that, but that's what got us to here, is having a good team. When I put that team together, when it goes bad, they're going to blame me, and that's fine. When it goes good, I should take some credit, and I will. And if it goes bad, I'm going to take the blame. I'm not going to throw nobody under the bus, because it starts with you if you're the CEO. I say that to know that the Dallas Cowboys have shown me, when you hire people, you allow them to do their job, because they probably, just because you're the boss or you're the CEO, don't mean that you know it all. And you got people that you hired to do a job, then let them do their job. And that's what strong will people like me have to learn? And because you're so used to trying to do everything. No, you got people to do their job. Let them do their job. And I think over the last, 15 months, I think I've gotten better each month of allowing that. And that allow us to be able to grow to where we are now, to where we on the doorstep talking to Texas A&M. We're talking to Nike. We got approved by QVC. We're doing
Nice.
we're doing a big thing for Walgreens in Puerto Rico tomorrow, my COO. And if you know Puerto Rico, the island, there's 118 Walgreens, so they run the whole island.
Man.
So, we're doing stuff like that. And eventually we will be in these schools. And eventually we will be in the VA. And we
Well, I
will
can't
be
wait.
helping people.
Hey, man,
So-
you're helping us here today, learning a lot. Like I was telling Bob, it was, crazy how this show manifested. And this is episode 3, and we've got about 8 more shows to go. And this is to kind of carry us through the off season. I mean, we all know about dealing with, people like Jerry Jones and doing it their way and not getting out of his way and giving everybody the ability to do their things like that. And just kind of skip over to some football because you're talking about a team, you're talking about things like that. How are you feeling about the Cowboys this year and the way they've been moving, the way they've been drafting, and what we're seeing going into training camp this fall? Are you drinking any Kool-Aid or anything you can share with us?
What I drink is their defense. If Dallas defense come to play, Dallas is a top 3 team in the NFC this year. If their defense don't come to play, they're just going to do what they did last year. It's all about Dallas's defense. Our offense is solid on every level. That's a solid offense. Now, the good thing about the Rams and what they did, you have a blueprint. You see what you have to do. That is who you have to beat. And whether you know it or not, that game in December 20th could be a prequel for the NFC Championship, which will be played a month later.
Man, the Super Bowl's like 2 months later, Bob. We were talking about that earlier. You know what I mean? The shift with, Garrett going to LA and us fortunately coming out of that bye. I mean, maybe the NFL did do us a favor by giving us that late ass bye because we can get ready for the Donald, or not the Donald, hope he don't come out, but Miles in LA. And then, I mean, they were the number 1 offense last year. So I think, Tony's on to something. This defense is going to have to step up. What do you think?
Yeah, we know the defense is going to have to step up. We're screaming it all year long. We always said if we were somewhere around 16 or 17 in terms of rank in the NFL last year in defense, we would have been in the contending for postseason. I understand that we had some things that kind of looked bad during the season anyway, but regardless, the defense, I've already seen them improve. Obviously on paper, but just the things that we did at the end of the season, getting Quinnen, getting these monsters on the line. We were consistently run on for, it seems like, decades. And I think maybe these moves recently are going to stop us from being in that narrative all the time, because at any given time, Dallas just gets run on. There was a few teams that we didn't. Dan Quinn had a team that didn't get run on a lot, but we still got gashed sometimes. So
Yeah. So the draft next year will be in your city out there, Tony, and I plan on being out there. Coming to the draft in DC next April.
What we need to do is, once I find out all the permit stuff, it should be podcast heaven. I want everybody to come and put their stage and podcast and get live out there. We're gonna be, our home base is gonna be right down in at the Gaylord in that area, Tom's and National Harbor.
Oh, Tom.
So y'all come on out. We're gonna have this thing. We're gonna blow this thing out for y'all. It's gonna be great. We're gonna probably have every Cowboy. I'm friends with Dorsett. I mean, Darryl Green and Tony Dorsett are really good friends. They're really, really good friends. So it's gonna be great. Because they trying to break the first day record of 400,000, and I think they're gonna break it.
Yeah. I went to the draft, and
I think it'll be 1 million people that Thursday.
Yeah, it seems like that's every year, Bob, right? Like, and I remember being in Dallas in 2018, and we were like over 200,000, and then went 300, 500, 700. Now, like you say, Yeah, it's going to be the biggest draft you've ever seen, ever the biggest. Yeah, it's coming next year, definitely for sure. But I appreciate you joining us here today, not only to share about RX Sports, what you're doing with the athletes. What do you got moving forward here for RX Sports that can kind of give people an idea of where you're taking your company next?
Well, what we're doing right now is we're concentrating on our 3 guys that we have at Temple, North Carolina Central, and Virginia Tech. And we may have a 4th, 5th guy with NIL, and just kind of having people come to our website so they can get educated. Because you see, our website is informational. What we want is people to understand, become educated about this, because this could actually save them. It could save their grandma. It could save people's lives, because pain is a problem, man. People really, in pain, people will do anything, when they're in pain, and what we want to do is just be, we want to be that product. Like I put on there, the people's pain reliever. That's what we want to be. We don't have any flashy superstars. I got regular people. You guys are regular. We all regular people. Regular people, everyday people that use our stuff, and it ain't costing you a fortune to use it and taking advantage of you just because you're sick.
I think a lot of people also don't necessarily understand, at least not, I don't think overall. The average person doesn't understand exactly what those opiates do to your stomach, what they do to your digestive system. It causes constipation. It can go the other way. There's a lot of stuff. And when you start packing on these pills, all the other things, you'd have to be crazy to not think that the whole concert of those pills is going to start doing some bad things for you. And I wanted to ask you something as someone who's sort of a strain geek. And this may be something that's more production than your wheelhouse, but do you know what strains your CBD is coming from? Do you have Charlotte's Web in there, or like AC/DC or anything like that?
No.
You don't know if
no, we don't. So Charlotte Web, and don't mind me, all the stuff that from the big companies, CBDMD and all them Charlotte's Webs and all that stuff. If we were in the drug game, the real drug game, we are the Frank Lucas of the world, and they are the people who cut it up and cut it up and cut it up 5, 6, 7 times. Our stuff, our lab, everything that we got is pure, straight from the plant, straight. We don't do any of that stuff. Yeah, we have CBD for depression and anxiety as well. Yep. That's the tinctures that go under. It's called the sedate. And that's what our guy, our military vet, Jerry uses. He uses the sedate. But yeah, our stuff, man, you would not believe. I'm glad you know Charlotte's Web and them. You would not believe all the stuff that they've been given because they got money to market the BS. And people like us.
I think it started, and regardless of where it is, it did start from the thoughts like you're coming from, helping somebody out. And eventually, money comes and things probably change. We know this in the cannabis business is also happening, but
it gets bigger. You know why? Because those people are in there for the money. Right. You got to have this for people. If you don't have this for people, you will do anything for money to screw people over. And that is the reason why the good Lord has me here, because he knows I'm not going to do that to people. I'm going to make sure that people get what they need. It makes no difference to me. We're eventually going to make money, but we got to take care of people first.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you jumping off in my comments. This is, like you say, definitely the good Lord's work at will right here. But before we get out of here, I want to ask folks that are tuning in here today on all the platforms, if you got questions for Tony, football related or anything like that, I kind of want to steer it back to football a little bit, but I think that's powerful that you want to help people. I'm glad that you're here on the show. Hopefully we can do some things moving forward. Definitely look forward to seeing you at the draft next year in DC. But getting back to the time that you were there at the Cowboys, you said you were there when Emmett was there and he was kind of going through a contract thing, because we were talking about this a little bit earlier. Could you share a little bit of that story? Like, what was it like there during that time with the biggest running back in the league in a contract dispute with Jerry?
Well, all that stuff was really crazy because he's the best. He just won the Super Bowl. And it's just I don't know, man. When you're a fan and then all of a sudden you come onto a team, it's like you living in a dream. And you just like you see it and you're like, man, I can't believe, I'm part of this. And when you get your check, and I looked at my first signing bonus and I was like, oh, it has my name and everything with the Cowboys, this and that. And listen, for all the fans out there, I called myself Starbucks because I was only there long enough for a cup of coffee. But I was there and I did it. And Jimmy Johnson thought I could actually play for them. And because of politics and this and that, things happen. And I thank the Cowboys every day. But I tell you this is the difference of maybe Jerry now versus Jerry then. Jerry then, we left August 2nd of 1993 to go to London to play game August 8th. So I'm in London and I'm standing out and I'm waiting on if you ever been to London, the little black cabs, I'm out there waiting. So I hear somebody say, Tony, how's it going? And I look, it was Jerry Jones.
Oh.
And I looked at him and I was like, and I turned around and looked for Tony Dorsett. Because I was like, how the hell he know my name? That's the owner of the Cowboys. How the hell he know my name? And then I'm like, dummy, he's the GM. He's the one who makes sure not only the owner, but he's the GM. He knows everybody that signed. He knows everything. And that's what Jerry 33 years ago. You know what I mean? I don't know how old he is now, but he probably was our age, then. So, and it hit me that you really are doing this. And from being, because see, I'm one of the biggest fans ever. I can repeat every Cowboy Super Bowl, every Cowboy Redskin game from 1976 to now.
You grew up with the Cowboys, huh? It's in your blood.
It ain't. Listen, man.
It's in you, huh? Not on
It's in me. If you cut me, I'm gonna bleed. I only wear one jersey. I wear the bad luck blue jersey that they last wore on January 12th, 1981. That's the only jersey that I wear. It's that bad luck blue jersey. They haven't worn them since then when they lost the NFC Championship to Philly. And those are only jerseys I wear. It's just
I know
me.
all about that. Those are the colors I wear too, man.
It looked like an old Giants jersey, but it's a Cowboy jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's,
I like it.
Listen, guys, that's why I love this Cowboy stuff, because when I was in London, I just had a black hat on that you saw in the picture with the star on it. And it had nothing on it about NFL. And the people look and say, Dallas Cowboys.
Hey.
That's why they're America's team.
You better know. Most recognized star around the world.
It's known. That star is not a rating. It's telling us who we are.
Yeah.
We've known around the world. It's America's team, man. And that will never change. And that's why they don't. Listen, it's a movie called Devil Wears Prada. You remember the first movie? You remember before she left out of the car, she looked at her and told her, she said, everybody wants to be like us. And she looked and was like, you're right. Everybody wants to be like them people that you see, the fashion models and everything else. He should have stolen that line, because Meryl Streep said it right. Everybody wants to be like us, or everybody wants to be us. And they do. We haven't been to a Super Bowl in 30 years, and we still relevant. Think about that.
We got us a fan over here, Bob. You know what I mean? He's pulling out the archives over here on us.
It don't. Hey, I'm ride or die, dog. It don't leave. And when I'm at the Hall of Fame, You come out to the Hall of Fame, I have you up there. You'll meet all. I'm ride or die with mine.
Yeah, no,
That's my
I
team.
was there in 21 when Drew, my favorite player,
And you
got
saw the
inducted.
picture that I had with Drew Pearson when he was signing.
Yeah. No, that's how our conversation
I was
started.
such a daggone fan. I didn't even want him to sign my jersey. I didn't want that signed jersey because I wear mine. I don't let nobody sign them. But
right,
hey,
good
man,
deal. We appreciate you having us, joining us here today. And for folks that are watching, maybe want to get in contact with you or some other folks in this industry.
you got my info. I appreciate you guys, man. Anytime, ride or die for these Cowboys. But I'm gonna keep you up to date because once we get the Olympics, we're going to get the NFL, and RxSports will be leading all this stuff.
That's what's up. We look forward. Yeah, we look forward to having you back, not only just as a fan, but also as a businessman, because you're doing the most good, not only for veterans, but also for the athletes. And you say you got athletes coming back, and Bob. He said he got the Frank Lucas. He said he got that blue magic.
That's what I nicknamed it on my thing, because it's pure. Our stuff is pure. Our lab looks out to Raven Stadium right in Baltimore. We got that pure stuff. All that stuff that you see that's going around, you go cut. That stuff been cut up. Our stuff is pure. I guarantee it. I stand behind it.
Hey, he flew all the way over there to Vietnam, but that was a hard movie, man. With Frank, I watched that movie, American Gangster, I think it was, and learned the Frank Lucas story. I was like, man,
that's my joint right there. I watch that movie once a month because that's us.
Well, we appreciate you joining us on the show here today. We're getting ready to wrap up, and this is episode 3. We'll be back spinning the block again next week with a special guest. So stay tuned for that. We appreciate everybody tapping in with all of us on all those platforms. Any words of wisdom for Cowboy fans this season before you get out of here today, Tony?
Keep the faith, and remember, we are America's team. That's us.
He said it, Bob. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
Did he drop out, or did you?
I think so. Done? We're good. We're back. All right. We're back.
Okay.
You gotta get me. Hold on.
But anyway, what a great show, man. I didn't know he was, through and through a fan. I knew he was affiliated with the team, but man, what a great show here to learn about RX Sports. I know I learned a thing or two. I might have to give me some of that cream, man, because that back be backing in the morning on the edge of the bed, Bob.
Yeah, I think anybody who can't do any sort of narcotics, anything really that's going to alter their mood or anything like that, CBD is the way to go with that. I mean, it does some really good things, like my brother was commenting, for anxiety, a lot of different things. And there are some different strains that do some different things as well. But it's always good to be able to find some alternatives. This plant does a lot more than people really will give it credit for. And we're going to talk about the seed issue right now that's about to happen. We'll talk about that in a future episode very soon. Yeah. There's an attack about to happen on the seed industry that's going to cause everyone to have lots and lots less cannabis at hand. So there's some things on the forefront we're going to talk about, but CBD is definitely one of those things that folks who are scared of taking THC or anything like that, they're still in stigma mode. CBD is safe for you to take, and pretty sure that everyone will accept it sooner or later.
Well, that's the episode 3 of the Smoke stream here on Hump Day. So we appreciate everybody joining us here. Make sure if you watch this after the fact, use hashtag replay. If you have a question, drop it in the comments. I think we've developed a relationship here with Tony. We're probably going to have him back here on the future. And just drop your questions down there, and be sure to turn on your notifications to join us next week, because I'm pretty sure Bob is going to be back in the driver's seat come next week. But we'll be here the same time, same bat channel, Wednesday, 4 p.m. on the West Coast, baby.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I don't know if anybody has any ideas what you want us to do some episodes on. Please, I mean, heck, between this and squared groupers over the last, man, we've covered a lot of stuff. If you folks ever want to find any of that stuff, come to my channel, because I've got all of those. And if I don't have, I know there's at least maybe a half a season that BG has on his YouTube page. I'm pretty sure. So if you can't find all of it on mine, you'll find some of it on BG's as well. But man, we've covered a lot of episodes, a lot of topics on a lot of different episodes. And this was one I don't think that we've messed with other than a couple of times. and to have someone in the industry was pretty cool.
Man, I mean, just shout out to Facebook. I mean, I made a post. This guy commented. I never knew he was following me. First time he commented. I'm a big Drew fan too. Hey. We start chatting, and he starts telling me how big of a fan he is. And then, I got this company, and boom. That's a beautiful thing about social media, baby. And that's a beautiful thing about the smoke stream. It's all organic.
Yeah, all organic, baby. Yeah, and like I said, there's a lot of things popping up. So if anybody has any ideas, heck, shoot me an email. The Cannabis Cowboy at yahoo.com. Send me some messages on any of my videos on YouTube. So just get us some information if you want us to cover some topics. I mean, there's probably some stuff I haven't thought about. I mean, it just popped up in my mind to ask him about strains of CBD because it's not something people talk about. Like there are strains of CBD exactly like there are strains of THC. Matter of fact, there are some CBD versions of THC plants. So there's a lot of nerd stuff I could have geeked out on, but
yeah, I thought it was a great question because I was like, oh, that's right. So, and then he knew what you were talking about, and so basically he's like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. We can talk about this and yada yada yada. I was like, okay, let me be a fly on the wall. That's a great thing, man. You get to learn here every Wednesday, so we do appreciate y'all tuning in. But I'm ready to roll. I don't know about you.
Yeah, let's get out of here, folks. Everybody, I appreciate you guys watching. We had a lot of folks all over we had them on your Cowboys Unifier. My Cultivated with the Cannabis Cowboy, Bob the Cannabis Cowboy, built different group. We had a lot of folks everywhere. So we appreciate everybody that chimed in, asked questions, all that good stuff. Even my brother, who's a Steelers fan, love you to death. Thanks for coming in and saying hello. It's really, really cool to watch my brother come in and say and talk smack, especially about the Cowboys, because he's the reason why I'm a Cowboys fan. Anyway, folks, we're out of here. See you next week.